Hello, World of Tank Blitzers. It's a Littlefinger. Hey, doing a full tank review on the WZ-112-2, which is a Chinese Tier 8 heavy premium tank. And yes, the world of heavy premium tanks, look at this, 18 of them, is pretty crowded. So, why am I recommending this tank? Well, first off, let's take a look at the offer. I just put out the review on the Dragon. Really great tank. To be able to get these two tanks for $7.50 each is really quite amazing. This tank alone is selling for $12. That in of itself is pretty good, but when you consider this has got all 9 equipment slots and the premium camos, this is quite the deal, and we'll get into that here in a second. But as you can see, the tank in the garage, really sloped armor in the front. The turret is really forward facing. You've got spaced armor on the sides. And this is just a very, very bouncy tank. So, my setup, real quick: consumables, running repair kits, multi-purpose, and adrenaline, running improved combat rations, improved fuel, and standard rations. As far as ammunition, 19, 7, and 4, making sure to buy those with credits. And equipment, let's run through this. Calibrated shells, a defense system, improved optics, enhanced gun lane drive. This aim time obviously is the downfall to the tank. It's a big old heavy tank, so what do you expect, right? And then we've got enhanced armor, 4% to our already great armor. That's wonderful. Engine accelerator, running refined gun. Again, this depends on how you're running this tank. If you're up front bully, you might be shooting more on the move, and you might get more out of the vertical stabilizer. If you stop and wait to aim, you want to run the refined gun. You get the most out of that. Toolbox and consumable delivery system. Blitzstars.com, you know the drill. WZ-112-2 here on the left, and I've got the Glacial and the 111. Both of these are Chinese heavy tank, and the reason I've got them pulled up, as you can see, these are exactly the same guns, same weapon handling. The only real difference is your mobility, with the WZ-112-2 being much faster than these other tanks. So if you do own these two tanks and you're on the fence about it, I would pass, just because the play style for both of those is very similar. So we'll get those out of the way for the rest of our discussion. One thing you'll notice here, as far as these heavy tanks go, because you've got so much armor, your DPM is not going to be as high. Some of these other tanks don't have as great armor, and so it's compensated by having a higher DPM. Pen numbers reasonable at 215, but is part of the reason that I do run the calibrated shells. You're doing 400 damage, which puts you in line with these IS-5, the 252U, which is a little bit higher at 420. So just very standard Soviet Chinese heavy gun handling, right? You don't have necessarily the greatest aim time or dispersion. You do have 6 degrees of gun depression. Can be a little bit tricky at times, but not as bad as, say, the IS-5. What I think really makes this tank so much better than say, the IS-5 is you don't have the pike nose. You've got that flat front, which makes it easier to side scrape and easier to deflect shots. And over, say, the Lova or the E75s, you got 42 kilometers per hour and 20 in reverse. And yes, you really do notice that reverse speed being much faster in this tank. It does, get you back into safety quite a lot better. And I really did notice that. So having a heavy tank with all this armor with decent mobility, is part of the reason that I really like this tank, and I think it's one of the best overall heavy tanks in the game right now. Just to look real quick at, say, the turret armor, you've got 195. you know, that's right in line with these other tanks, and your hull armor is 140, and we'll look into, you know what, I'll just jump right into it. Here we go. Yeah, so if you can get this tank hull down, you know, these numbers are just through the roof. You know, so even the hatches, the cupolas here are really difficult to pen. You've got 287 in effective armor. The downside is obviously this lower plate, and we'll get to that in a second. You can see you've got some really nice spaced armor on the side, and so you've got either small strip on the top, or if you're aiming and shooting at this tank, this is where you want to aim, the side of the tracks, and you'll even get some nice bounces off the rear of this tank when it's angled nicely. So let me send this back, and we'll look at the pen numbers, and let's see if I can't scroll this down real quick. So you can see, look, I've got a K91 shooting at this tank. This is a tier 9 heavy tank. If you're on flat terrain facing it, he can pen just about everywhere. But if you can get, you know, a little bit of elevation, so maybe 4 degrees shooting downwards, this front plate is almost impenetrable. All the way around the turret, it is just so difficult to hit. You know, you can peek out around corners like this, and you know, you just do your damage and back up. Most people will then hit this front plate, 260 effective armor, and it ricochets off. So real nice tank in regards to its armor profile. Alright guys, first game Castilla here, and we are bottom tier, and I hope this game really exemplifies what this tank is all about. I've got a few clips pulled out, and no, I'm not going to be doing 5k damage and telling you how easy it was and making you feel bad for not being perfect in this tank. No, that's not my style. These are real battles, real teams that you see every day in Blitz, and you know, I just don't know how some YouTubers do it, to be honest with you. Enough said. Anyway, so just a little knock on someone else that's posting videos doing amazing damage and just an amazing player. Yeah, so Supremacy game, and look at this guy, he's just YOLOing out into the middle. And and it's gonna be funny. I'm sorry for laughing, guys, but the games I had in this tank were, the teams were just laughable. All right, so here we go. If you can hide this lower plate, which I talked about there in the armor inspector section, you are gonna bounce so much, and he's not showing me much there to aim. A pretty lucky shot to get that in, but you know, with having that pike nose is such a downside, because your lower plate does extend a little bit higher, and this tank is much easier to hide that lower plate. And M103 comes across, and he can't even pen us. You know, we're a minute and a half into this game, and we've blocked 1200 damage already. Gonna wait for the Tiger 2 to turn just a little bit more before we put our shot in, making sure that we get it into the side. And this is just a straightforward, boring ass game. And you have these games, but I just wanted to point out, it's like this tank's armor is really good. If you just know, you know, obviously I'm lower than that M103. He doesn't have the gun depression to get down. I really don't care if he's going to shoot me now. I was going for the kill shot on the RHM. But again, here's that reverse speed, 20 kilometers per hour, and I get out of the way, and they decide to shoot the other guy, the K91. He's got one more shot. He takes it. So he's on a long reload now. Was hoping I would get in here and get the shot on the M103, but nope, he's taken out before I can get to his lower plate. So we'll just fast forward this, as the enemy red there was on the other side of the map, and you know, I'm just not going to get there in time. I'm going to struggle to get up this hill, but in a quick one-game summary, this is what I can say about it. We just sat there, we held our own, we bounced shots, we did 2,800 damage, and got 76,000 credits out of it. Just a boring, heavy game. Alright guys, so here's the second game on Alpine Stod. This time we are top tier, but this is Supremacy, and where to even begin on this? I mean, I'm going to go to C. Looks to me like I had some help initially, and then they just kind of stopped. But like I said, I like this tank's mobility. We've pushed right up into C. And we'll go ahead and cap C, so the enemy knows that we've got at least one tank on this side of the map, and 4 or 5 of their guys are now spotted, so I'm not too concerned, and I'm going to push round. But just watch, and I've got this sped up to 150% just so we can get this part of the game over with. But look at the mini-map on my side. Everyone's still sitting in spawn. Nobody has even moved. And it's pretty much the same for their team when I come around the back side here. And, I was hoping to be able to catch some guys up on the hill there, but nope. I've got the T-29 looking at me. He takes a shot. We've got the SU-130 looking at me. So I've got some attention, and this would be a great time for the enemy team my team to push forward. Make a mistake going through town there. And I know I've got a light tank on me, so I'm just pushing back now into my spawn, and these guys still haven't moved. So I quite honestly, I don't know what you do with a game like this. Just some games the teams aren't set up to win. That's all I can say. Just now I'm just gonna try to stay alive and do damage at this point. You can see we've now lost C-cap. I should have realized that. Poor old, I think that was the ISU, yeah, he bounces me several times in this game, but we do get shot in the butt, and I should have realized that as soon as C got capped, that they were going to start pushing on us this way. So, I'm gonna use my heavy armor now, and I'm gonna get up. Here we go. We get the shot in. We're frontal. He's coming out sideways. So, just shows you how to use your armor and how not to use your armor. You can see that lower plate, certainly pennable. Thank you. We'll go ahead and get that shot in, and now we're losing the third cap, and our team has just sat here this whole game, and just watch this AMX. What is he gonna do going down the inside? He's got to turn 90 degrees to get shots on anybody. And oh, poor ISU. Here he goes. Oh yeah, let's turn 90. No, you didn't even get your shot off. Just amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. At this point, they're at 900 cap points, 3 caps. Not a lot we can do, even though we've now whittled their team down. And here's the downside to this tank. Shooting on the move, the accuracy just is not there. And I know we got to get kills. I'm going to drive around him, try to get my shot in, and finish him off. Counter reaches 1,000. And look at this. We still don't get that shot to go in. So the pain and agony of some of these teams when you try to do the right thing, you still end up in top damage. Even, you got IS sitting in the back there doing 118 damage. It's like, whatever, guys. Alright, guys, so here we are, Fort Despair, bottom tier. Finally a battle that's not Supremacy. Yeah, been getting those a lot lately. But if you look at our team, IS-3D, T-30, yeah, we're not suited really for going the heavy route. So I'm perfectly fine with our lights pushing on into the cap circle area. I'm going to play it a little bit more cautiously, waiting to see where their heavies poke up. And quite honestly, this is going to be another loss. And I make several mistakes, as in that previous game where I'm not sure what I could have done differently. There's some things I know I could have done differently here. So we're going to get that T-49 out of the game pretty early. So that's nice. But The T-92 is still sitting in the corner, and he has a big problem because obviously a huge gun can do lots of damage, and he's just picking off our guys sitting in the middle. And so it's about this time, it's like I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I have got to get to the outside, and I've got to push that T-92 out of that position. And I'm seeing our IS-3D push forward. Also, our Batchat yells morons. And so I'm thinking, well, maybe he's going to the corner. So that's mistake one. Thinking your other team is going to do what you think is the right thing for the battle. As you see, it's just blocking another shot. So T-92 here is, again, still the problem. We're going to get him just a little bit closer to exiting the game here with this shot, but he puts one in return. Batchat now has circled us, taking out our T-92. The ISU takes out of our Batchat. Who knows why he went and just sat in the back corner there. So Batchat's obviously on a reload. He's getting out of there. And we finally do get the T-92 out of the way. And so this is where I make my second huge decision. There's one tank we still don't know where he is, and that's the KPF. And I tell you, the last place I expected him to be sniping from that spot right there. So that is a mistake, a huge mistake on my part. Again, shot into the Rev as he bounces us again. I know he's going to be coming around. I am going to start to turn and be ready to shoot him, and there's mistake number 3. So by not taking control of the corner of this map really was the downfall, I think, for our team. But again, this just goes to show you're going to bounce shots regardless of where you are. You can be top damage, still do 2,000 in damage and get 43,000 credits out of it, even when you don't have necessarily the most supportive of teams. Alright guys, so for the last battle, we've got Yukon here. Again, bottom tier, Supremacy. And yeah, so again, you know, nothing super special with this tank. It's just a really strong, heavy tank. And I don't know. I'm hoping that, you know, the gameplay here reflects that. I didn't try to necessarily cherry pick just the best games. I did so a little bit with the Dragon replay that I just also put out, because that game, it's all or nothing with the Dragon. You're going to get yourself into great positions, or you're going to get yourselves into a real mess, and you're not going to have quick games. And unfortunately, for reviewing tanks, you know, having a quick game doesn't necessarily help with the review. So we've come in here, we've got B. We know they're going in C, so we'll just peek on down here and look to see if we get anyone coming across. There's an IS-5, just snap that in there and record our damage. T-92 coming in behind, so we're going to drop Adrenaline, and he's showing us his backside, so 494 for an HE shot into the back of the T-92. Hori, he's on the run. He's like, I don't like this position one bit. And yeah, so we got ammo damage there by the M103, but we're able to repair, shoot, and get that some additional damage in. So a lot of times I find myself on this map just getting circled. I don't know what your experience has been lately, but again, you can see this T-92, he's been all over the map. Alright, M103, look at this, max roll. Gotta like that. Progetto here on our left, we're keeping an eye on it. T-54 and T-92 now on our left. Get one shot into him. And unfortunately, our KPF is not much longer for this game because he's got 3 tanks on him. I can't shoot down below to get the Progetto. T-54 is behind cover. And here comes the T92. We've done well. We've got 2 caps. The other side of the map's done well. Just trying to keep this guy in front of me. He gets behind, and look at this. Boink. Yep. Can't even get that shot in on the rear of my tank. Luckily, I saved my shot, and the Progetto came over, and we get a kill. You know, like I didn't move, but a couple of 100 meters from this spot, and you know, we just used our armor. We'll get one last shot in here. Max roll 500, so 3,300 damage just from sitting in a spot. 87,000 credits. So, you know, it's a wonderful. Let me see. We got 4 shots, 3, 1 non-penetrating. So, you know, the tank just bounces shots all day long, and that's why I really do think this is a solid little tank. So guys, please consider this this bundle here for $15. I don't think you'll regret it too much, provided, like I said before, if you're not running the Celestial or the 111 or something. So as with that, guys, hope you're having fun out there. Stay safe, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.